Hello, hello, everyone. I am so honored to bring you today's presentation. We are fortunate enough to have an absolute powerhouse with us today. Every time I have been in Marki's presence, I leave with about 7 to 10 pages of notes. She shares so much information, so I hope that everyone has a blank notebook and a full pen because there is going to be a ton of information that she will share with you. And if you don't know who Marki is, I will just give you a brief overview. She is a licensed managing broker. She is a realtor. She was just inducted into the Realtor Hall of Fame. She is a federal political coordinator. And she does so much more. She's also a keynote speaker. You've seen her at Inman, you've seen her at NAR. She was doing a podcast. I'm not sure. Are you still doing your podcast, Marky?
I still have social selling made simple, and NAR went in a different direction with NAR podcast.
Okay. So there are no limits on how you can find Marky. She has a website, and I encourage everybody to check out her website. She has resources. You can join trainings with her. There's so much valuable information, not to mention all of the things that she also gives away for free. So I am going to step away and thank you, Marky, so much for being here. I can't wait to take all of the notes and learn from you again today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm elated to be here, especially after just attending RLM advocating for private home ownership rights. I want you to know that you can be all things to all people. There was a time when that was not true. But because of artificial intelligence today, you definitely have the opportunity to be all things to all people, leveraging the tools. I do not teach theory. I actively engage with the tools that I'm going to share with you today. And the reason is I was able to see a 261% increase in my productivity that led to a 283% increase in my income in as little as 6 months. And for the first time in my life, I am committed to a regular exercise routine. AI allows me to get up and invest 1 hour in myself to take a 50-minute Pilates class. And I want you to be able to have that same opportunity because what I did not know then that I know now, once you have a good workout, you feel like you're frolicking in life and you're just happy for no reason at all. And I did not know that I could increase my level of happiness, which means my house is a happier place to be, which also now means that the law of attraction is working to attract even more, think more abundantly. And I want you to have those same identical opportunities in your life and in your business. One thing that we get to do today that we have not had the opportunity to do in the past, and that is to speak everything into existence. And I don't care if that is from the mobile device. I don't care if that is from the iPad. I don't care if it is from a tablet and or your desktop. I happen to be 55 years of age this year, and often I am experiencing brain fog and eye fatigue, which means I simply want to close my eyes. From whatever device that you own, you will have the opportunity to not think harder, to not do more work, but to be able to speak everything into existence. And I am sure some of you want to go into higher leadership roles. You want to eventually become the president of your local association or of one of the affiliate organizations. Maybe you want to serve NAR and a vice chair or a chairperson's committee. I've had the opportunity to do all of those things, speaking everything into existence. Get this, being more productive, generating more leads, earning more money, but freeing up the time to invest in me physically. And when I talk about lead generation, this is what I want you to keep in mind. And I want you to think about this as impact to your business. Since artificial intelligence, or better yet, ChatGPT came out November the 30th, 2022, I have gone from 13,000 contacts in my customer relationship management system to over 44,000. That is what the 261% increase in productivity led to, that empowered me to be able to increase my earnings. And these are going to be free and low cost tools that you can implement, but we have to have a shift in mindset. Today, we must be in what I call constant learning mode if we want this to work for us. I am Marki Lemons Ryhal. I am built on experience, but driven by impact. In the world of real estate, I have amassed 66 real estate related licenses, designations, and certifications. This year, in the month of September, I will be in Anchorage, Alaska. That means that I will have taught face to face in what will then be my 50th state. I'm currently at 48 states. We're going to add North Dakota, and Alaska will be it. So I've had the opportunity to take everything that I do and repurpose it. And I'm going to show you the benefit of doing that in your business, speaking it into existence while leveraging AI. But here's what people don't tell. This is the truth. And I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm gonna tell you why. When I walk into the room as a 55-year-old woman who is overweight and bald headed, there is low expectations because I'm mid-aged and I already know it. It means that I always have the opportunity to exceed expectations. But let's talk about the truth. The real estate industry is a mid-age dominated female industry, and you are the institutional knowledge of this industry. We're not going to allow anyone to put us down moving forward or not recognize the fact that we are the top sales producers of this industry while volunteering, while managing significant others, while managing children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. We are it. We are the cream of the crop. And when I was at RLM at Innovator of the Year, I told the innovators that when you walk into a room and you see a bunch of mid aged women, understand that this industry is built on our backs. How are you going to make our job easier for us? Keep that in mind and don't ever allow anyone to underestimate you. But let me also say this: the industry is ours, the age is ours, and there is a hidden tax that we are paying, whether we know it or not. And we're going to dive deep into what that tax is. As I stated before, every person listening, and I don't care if you're a mid-aged woman or not. You could be one of my sons. The youngest one is 19, looking to come into the industry. I also have a 30-year-old son in the industry. We all speak 3 to 4 times faster than we type, text, or write. The question I have for you is, why are you forcing yourself to consistently type into a phone that, if you're anything like me, you wear glasses. Your glasses likely have a progressive lens, which means that you can't even see what you typing when you can just speak it into existence because you don't know if you typed the word correctly or not, which now means we look through these lenses and we decide if we want to look over or look under to look at this device. I can tell you that's no longer me. I am running circles around my competition because I'm holding this $1,000. This is actually the new flip, okay? Or is this the flex, right? So it opens up. This $1,000 plus device, I want every penny out of this device. So let us stop running these six-figure and seven-figure real estate business relying on our fingertips. You no longer have to rely on your fingertips. And this is the first step in change. Doing what comes naturally. We speak in front of people every single day, whether doing buyer and or seller consultations, whether presenting to our team and or our brokerage. You need a PowerPoint, speak it into existence. You need a speech, speak it into existence. You need to role play negotiations, speak it into existence, and you are going to do it 3 to 4 times faster than your competition. But the truth behind recent studies show that in the rooms today, we are a 66% female dominated industry. The average age is toggling between 57 and 60 based on which report you look at. And I would say the mass majority of us, as independent contractors, are working off of commission. And if we don't get it right, we won't get paid. We've all had the opportunity to show up adhering to license rules and regulations, adhering to the Realtors Code of Ethics, adhering to fair housing rules and regulations on a federal, state, county, and city level, and now adhering to the Department of Justice, right? We did everything right. We dotted every single I, crossed every single T. But then maybe the client lost their job and we won't be compensated. And knowing who we are and what we represent has only made me bolder because we have earned the right to give ourselves a break and to not always have to be on, but to leverage artificial intelligence as our unique selling proposition and differentiating ourselves from people who often, my son is 25 years younger than me, right? So 25, sometimes 30 years younger than me based on the minimum licensing age in your state. I want to introduce you to 4 women. And the reason I'm introducing you to these women, because I'm going to walk you through my medical journey while increasing my visibility and my earnings. I was in perimenopause when I had 3 surgeries for lipedema. Lipedema is a fat disorder that I was not diagnosed with until the age of 51, even though an onset was as early as the age of 10. No doctor ever told me I had lipedema. My vascular surgeon told me I had lipedema. And when I decided to have that first surgery, it was the first day of my last cycle, and it put me into menopause. So, as I was at home healing from my 3 surgeries over a 3 month period of time, I started to see a change in my body. And 2 years ago, I showed up at realtor legislative meetings in Washington, D.C., and all of a sudden I started limping because my right hip was now hurting. Mind you, I had healed from 3 surgeries, but I also had had plantar fasciitis, frozen shoulder, brain fog, eye fatigue, gut health issues, taking a prebiotic, a probiotic. And I was already leveraging artificial intelligence, which means every time I would earn more money, I would go and buy myself a new trinket to overcompensate for the plantar fasciitis or the new inserts or the better shoes I needed to buy. And then the new outfit with the shoulder out, right? Or putting on my clothes a different way for the frozen shoulder. I had been there. And in July of 2024, I was formally diagnosed with menopause. And what has occurred to me over the past 2 years is that for the past 20 years, I have coached, I have mentored, I have inspired women who are in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and we don't all look the same, and our symptoms don't all present the same way. But we can all leverage artificial intelligence to overcompensate for them. So, because I believe in inclusion, I decided I was going to come up with what I call my executive pause team. That is Carmen, who is Hispanic, age 44, going through perimenopause. You have me, Marki, who is African American, full fledged in menopause. You have me, Ling. She's Asian. She's also in menopause. And then we have Diana, who is in postmenopause. I totally created every last one of these characters, but I have done deep research in the different phases and what it means to them and their productivity. And guess what? A female dominated industry of high performers. What does this look like for us? And what tools do we use hmm, in order to stay on top? In order to not lose our edge, in order to not allow anything to fall through the cracks. This is for you, the high performing women of real estate. And if you have not reached the age of 40, guess what? You'll know how to perform when you do reach it because we are the first generation of women who are publicly even having this discussion. So I do want you to pull out your mobile device. The first thing that I decided to do was I wanted to look at all the different symptoms. And I also want to point this out. I happen to have married well. And what I mean by that, I did not marry a rich man, but my husband is a locomotive engineer, which means we have fabulous benefits. I am clear that a lot of practitioners don't have access to the same medical care that I have access to, which is why I'm also sharing this with you as a form of prevention. And I want you to also know that even though I've had access to the best medical care, our medical system has failed me. It has grossly failed me. And I'll get more into that. So, what I wanted to do was to look at the different signs for perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and also to look at what are the top 20 occupations, okay, for a high performing midlife woman. Now, I want you to think beyond yourself. I want you to think about who your client is. I have known for quite some time that my audience is 80% female, with the number one age being 45 to 54. So, what I'm doing not only helps me, not only helps my real estate agents, but it also helps the people who I serve. And what I don't want to occur is that the people who I serve to lose their job or to be less productive, because then that means that their price point not might not be as high today as it has been in the past. So when you see that physician, the attorney, the nurse practitioner, the financial advisor, the CEO, the university professor, the real estate agent, the management consultant, the human resource director, the pharmacist, right? And they're your age, they're likely experiencing something that they have not identified yet. And you can be a solution to their problem. Think about what is going to be your value add. We talk about it consistently. Well, I like to be the value add for my friends, giving them resources, because then I have absolutely no problems getting a signed agreement, whether a listing agreement or a signed buyer representation agreement, with an offer of compensation. If you provide value, you will not have any problems getting signed agreements with an offer of compensation. So if you scan the QR code, it's going to actually take you over to a artifact that I built out in Claude. I told you I practice what I preach. I did this study to help us better understand us and our clientele, allowing us to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. Okay, so we speak in everything into existence, and we're going to leverage these resources to make us better for who might actually be our ideal client. As we take a look at the hidden tax, there is a line item that is draining our income, and studies have shown this, that never shows up on the settlement statement. I was asked a question, how do I stay up on everything? I'm gonna tell you right now, it is because I take hormone replacement therapy and I get 8 hours of sleep every single night. Sleep is my non negotiable, but I can get all the sleep in the world. It does not mean that on occasion I might forget someone's name. It does not mean that I will not have eye fatigue or brain fog, especially on those days that could be mentally exhausting. So, for 20 years, I've coached that midlife professional. And what I did not know until 2 years ago is what the issue was until I experienced it firsthand for myself. And even if you have the opportunity to experience it firsthand, if you don't have medical insurance, it still might not have a name in your chart. It didn't have a name in my chart. I just knew I was having plantar fasciitis. And soon as that was healed, frozen shoulder. And as soon as that was over, I needed prebiotics and probiotics. And guess what the newest thing is? Electrolytes, because my feet were having spasms. I would tell you the electrolytes work, or the creatine, or the collagen. It's all needed. And no one told us this and how we were going to age gracefully, still put on cute heels, show up for the client, and be able to recall everything that has happened in the community like it's on the back of our hand. Brain fog, though, is a revenue problem. And I remember sitting here at this desk the day that my brain fog lifted. And instantly, I wanted to catch up on what was months of work. And I'm in here just typing, just typing. I'm like, oh, I remember. Oh, I recall. Oh, yeah, I remember exactly where that is. That's where I put so and so. Guess what? That day can happen for you. But here's what it looks like: the words won't come on a listing call. You totally forget the acronym. Okay. Uh, PITI, you've been saying principal, interest, taxes, and insurance for decades. And on that call, you can't recall it. You lose the thread mid email. Like, who sent me that email? Or better yet, who did I respond to? I know I just saw it. Where is it? And God forbid you have more than one email account. The follow up, you swear that you sent. Like, I know I sent that. So now I take screenshots to make sure that I send it, and I go back and do a double check off list, because guess what? It's possible you might not have sent it. And then the blank page that eats your morning because you don't know what you're going to write. You have no idea what to write. This is why I speak everything into existence, because if you give yourself the opportunity to close your eyes, you give yourself the opportunity to dream. And as it is coming up, I'm not looking for pen and paper to write it down. I'm going to simply pick up my phone and start speaking it into existence. But leveraging Claude in my business allows me to come back and ask it verbally if I can recall a date or a set of initials, and it will go back into those documents based on connectors and find it for me. You can do it with your calendar. You can do it with your emails. You can do it inside of your Google Documents. There are thousands of connectors that you can go back in and read inside of those sources, giving it little to no, almost no information for it to recall for you. 67% of women age 40 to 60 report psychological symptoms, mood shifts, memory lapse, and anxiety due to perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And the mood shifts are very important because we need to show up as our true, authentic self all the time. If not, what no one is discussing is the trust that will erode if people think you aren't the same person. So historically, they would communicate with you and you are just pleasant and you're fun loving. And then you go on a listing appointment, it's in the evening, you haven't had a chance to have a good meal. So you're not hungry, you're hangry, the combination of hungry and angry. And they see a different version of you. Now you are eroding trust. That is why we want to set up systems leveraging AI so that we can show up as the same pleasant, fun loving person that the client believes we are. No one handed me a playbook, so I built. I'm talking to you about something that no one probably in real estate has ever talked to you, since the powers to be often aren't going to be a woman. It isn't a medical fix, so I'm not giving you medical advice, but I will share with you the things that have worked for me. It was 100% operational. Now, keep in mind, before I was formally diagnosed, I was already leveraging artificial intelligence. So I had the money to buy the special stuff to think that I was making myself feel better. And as I tell people now, AI will do for your business what HRT will not. HRT got me pleasant and mellow and able to sleep through the night. But this AI is what put my business on steroids and allowed me to build systems to support me where I am and to automate my life. It was AI and it started with my voice input. Some of you have had the opportunity to see me for years, ever since January of 2019, recording my podcast, Social Selling Made Simple. Well, you have seen me in the same headset. I've had a Sennheiser over the head headset now for 7 years. And I'm often sitting at this desk doing audio input. What I can tell you right now is that audio input has led to hundreds of videos, hundreds of episodes of Social Selling Made Simple, hundreds of emails sent as a result of Social Selling Made Simple, hundreds of blog posts as a result of it. It has also led to 30 publications that are on Amazon and 6 international bestsellers. It's led to a syndicated column through Agent Publishing. It has led to, 70 episodes of Menopause OS Weekly over on LinkedIn as a newsletter. Because not only am I speaking it into existence, I am repurposing that content leveraging artificial intelligence. If you're on ChatGPT, I want you to think about projects. And everything that you want to repurpose from your audio input should be a standalone project. This would be an example. Every single month, I put out a press release. I do a press release because it's going to allow me to be found easier via answer engine optimization. That means at the very top of your Google feeds, okay? And for generative engine optimization. That would be for your Chat GPT, your Gemini AI, Perplexity, and Claudes of the world. Every single month, I'm putting out a press release. Well, my project has those written instructions on how to do a great press release. Inside of ChatGPT, it would be a project. Inside of Gemini AI, it would be a gem. Inside of Claude, it would be a skill. They all kind of do, and in Claude, you would also have projects. They all kind of do the same thing, but they all have a different name. Okay. Every single month, I'm speaking into existence a press release. Okay. Also, every single week, I'm speaking into existence a newsletter. And then once per month, I'm speaking into existence a syndicated column. I do all of this so that when consumers are searching for what it is that they want from the palm of their hand, I'm coming up, whether that's social media, whether that's search engine optimization via Google, whether that's answer engine optimization, or whether that is generative engine optimization. And I'm doing this keeping women in mind that are enduring and experiencing exactly what it is that I'm enduring. And I tell everybody I'm not for the young. I'm too direct. I will tell you, most younger people are a little bit sensitive to how direct I am because I can only talk about my lived experiences. This means that we have to kind of reframe where we are mentally. So stop treating artificial intelligence as a nice to have item. It is substantially more than that. We have to start treating it as a performance tool. I've always treated it from day one as a performance tool, as an entrepreneur, noting I was always driven by being found online. What I want is for people to come off of the internet and provide them with an item of value. So then they're in my customer relationship management system, and I'm able to communicate with them when Facebook goes down, when LinkedIn has an outage, and all these things have happened. And every time they happen, I'm able to send an email to tell my customer relationship management system what is going on. And here's the thing, not only do I think that you should have it, I think that you should select a platform and pay for the plus or the pro subscription. Only 1% of users have pro and or plus plans. But the reason I have a pro and plus plan on every platform I've mentioned, ChatGPT, Google, which is for Gemini AI, Perplexity, and for Claude. I have a paid one on all of them. And that is because you can automate redundant tasks on every last platform. And automating those tasks allows me the opportunity to step away from my business. But it actually allowed me to help my two children and my husband fulfill their personal dreams. Everyone has dreams. Everyone wants the opportunity to shine for what it is that they do good, whether that's just at the kitchen table, okay? And AI allow me to perform better, but to then become an asset to the people who I love the absolute most. And it can do the same thing for you. AI isn't just a business advantage, it is actually a performance solution. And this is what I want you to think about when I'm talking about performance solutions, besides the fact we're going to speak everything into existence. I wear and carry with me all the time the Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Now, the reason that I love the Meta Ray-Ban glasses is because when I'm experiencing brain fog or eye fatigue, I can close my eyes and they will read for me. But not only will they read for me, they will translate for me. Therefore, when I'm going to a client's house and I know that that client is over the age of 40, I know that naturally vision starts to decline at that age. And have you ever heard of the blind leading the blind? Well, if I can't see the fine print, how do I anticipate the client's going to see the fine print? Or why would I think that I should help the client read the fine print when I know I can't see it? Well, the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, I believe, is something that should be in your toolbox. A lot of people say, well, how would you use it? You would not put a prescription lens in because the goal is not for them to read through the lens. The goal is that the camera in the headset, and let me just point this out. There's two cameras on these glasses, one in each corner, but it takes its film and it's filming its pictures from the camera over the left eye. So you have to kind of pivot just a little bit. Well, it's going to read it for you. It's going to translate it for you, and it's going to play through the microphone. That is a performance solution. Another tool that I have in my arsenal that not only allows me to overcompensate, but now is a conversation starter with the client because most of them don't know how to use it. And I'm showing them how to use it as a second set of eyes and ears in the real estate transaction. You cannot control your biology, but you can control your tools. And guess what? They're a tax write off. They are a business right off. And so this is not for medical performance. This is to operate at the most efficient level with the best tools to service my clientele. So, coming back to typing versus speaking, the average person is going to speak 150 words per minute, yet the average person types roughly 40 words per minute. And then I don't even have to worry about if I'm spelling it right. So, think about how you're resting your brain. I don't have to keep my eyes open. I don't have to spell it correctly because I'm going to speak it into existence. This is built for how we work to the point that you remember the phone booth. Well, I remember a phone booth because growing up, I had to keep a dime in my pocket. Okay. I told you I'm 55. And it was that dime was just in case of an emergency. Well, what looks like a phone booth as we know it traditionally is now popping up in corporate America. And it doesn't have a phone, but what it does have is a microphone. And it is considered a dictation booth. What corporate America has identified is that people talk, what, 3 to 4 times faster than they type, text, or write. So we are going to empower corporate America with what is now dictation booths, allowing all the staff to be more productive. And this might be something you want to think about in your office. So you're going to be 3 to 4 times faster. Your output at speed you talk. You won't start with a blank page because you can close your eyes and speak it into existence. And it is fall proof if you create systems around it, and it can actually help you with recall, and you're not hunting for the words. And the tool that is going to help solve this problem for you is a tool called Whisper Flow, spelled WISPR. Now, I was already doing audio input, but what Whisper Flow is going to do for your business is it is AI infused into audio, thereby correcting it grammatically. But over time, it is taking a look at your voice, your style, your tone, the same way that Grammarly has done. For me, Grammarly has been a part of my business ever since September the 13th, 2015. Therefore, if you are a Calendly user or a Grammarly user, you was using AI unintentionally before you were using AI. These are heavy AI infused tools. And what it starts to pick up is the cadence and how you actually speak to make it sound better over time. The voice keyboard will turn any audio into clean, finished text anywhere you would traditionally write on a device. So, any place that there is a keyboard, it's a voice keyboard that writes like you do. You will hold down a key, you will talk. Actually, it's called whisper because you get to whisper everything into creation. It strips your fillers. It does your punctuation for you. It will drop finished text into whatever app you're using, whether that's email, your customer relationship management system, your note taking app, your social media post, the back end of your website. Maybe you have an intranet system. It will work in any place that a keyboard would work. There are 3 steps and no typing involved. You're going to press a button to speak. AI is going to clean it up, and then it lands with perfection. You can do this for emails, CRM notes, all of your listing copy, your social media post, your client text, emails, and even to help you create new AI prompts. Now, we're going to do something. I'm going to show you 2 different sets of keyboards, and we're going to write. Well, we're not going to write. We're going to speak everything into existence, okay? On the left-hand side of your screen is a text thread between me and my managing broker, Nick Liebert. You see there are three circles. At the very top is it looks kind of like a W with the audiograph in it, and that is Whisper. I could tap that button and speak anything into existence. Right under there is the keyboard, audio keyboard that is built into the messaging system. And at the bottom left is the Google audio keyboard. Now, if you take a look at the screen, one is a text message between me and my managing broker, and the other one is ChatGPT. Now, here's an assumption that I'm making. In both interfaces, you see three ways to do audio input, but only one way to do text input. To me, this is a sign that we should speak three times more than we are typing and or texting when I am seeing visible audio input. On the right-hand side, I could use Whisper inside of Chat GPT. But inside of Chat GPT, you see there are two icons inside of that circle. The one on the left side is one-way communication, just me talking to ChatGPT. The one on the right-hand side is two-way communication. That means that ChatGPT can ask me clarifying questions. And then once again, at the bottom left-hand side, we have our Google audio keyboard. There are other keyboards on your mobile device. And so I don't care what I'm using. I am going to speak three times more than I type, text, or write in order to increase my productivity. And keep this in mind. We also give more details when we speak versus when we type, text, or write. Also, keep in mind, because the world is using audio input more, I want to match their input with my output. If I'm giving it audio and giving it more content, I'm going to have better output that will likely match how they're searching, allowing me to be faster and more likely to come up in their search. I mean, like, really, this is going to save you an abundance of time, allowing you to create more and be found more. It is a gift that keeps on giving. And I wish we would have had this gift a lot sooner in life. So the previous screen was of your mobile device. But what does this look like if I'm on my desktop? Well, long before ChatGPT allowed for audio input, I was using a Chrome browser extension. I use a lot of Chrome browser extensions. The reason is they empower your tools to do something that it does not already do. And so since ChatGPT came out, I've been doing audio input probably within the first 30 days, start leveraging Chrome browser extensions. Well, if you come into the chat bot, you have your number two and number three. Once again, one-way communication on the left, two-way communication on the right. But how does Whisper work from your desktop or from your laptop? It means that for my HP users, we would hold down the Windows key and the control key at the same time, and a audio bar would come up, and it is going to do audio to text inside of whatever text box that is, whether that's Chat GPT, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's WhatsApp, it is going to work and allow me to be faster, also allowing you to be faster. And this is what I'm not seeing thoroughly explained. Back in 2006, after reading the then 2006 profile of buyers and sellers, I knew that I had a problem. The problem I had is, yes, I had billboards, bus benches, my automobile was wrapped. I was running classified ads at the time in the back of the Chicago Sun-Times. And when I went to go do a Google search for my name, it came up fewer than 10 times. And I realized that I was not being found at the time. which is why I doubled down on social media. Well, in 2006, it was about being found on social and then being found in a Google search. Well, what has happened as a result of artificial intelligence today, I still want to come up on social media. I still want to come up on a Google search. But now I want to come up in answer engine optimization searches and also generative engine. I want to come up when someone asks about Marki Lemons, or if someone says, oh, give me a top producing real estate agent on the south side of the city of Chicago who specialized in foreclosures and short sales. I want to give myself the opportunity to come up for that. If I'm not speaking into existence content, I'm not coming up. I'm not coming up in I'm not going to come up on social media. I'm not going to come up in search engine optimization. I'm not going to come up in AEO. I'm not going to come up in GEO. You're not going to come up. Leveraging AI for content creation, especially for AEO and GEO, is going to give you a 4-for-1 return, but it also gives you the power to stick around. And what I'm now seeing is a 4-for-1 return on what you used to be a 2-for-1 return. And I'm doing it faster. And you can too. So, what does our playbook look like? There are three levers: productivity, lead generation, and income. Voice can move all three. It can increase your productivity and your content creation. The more content you put out, the more leads you should generate. The more leads you generate, the more income you should have. Do your admin out loud. Reclaim the hour a day you lose to typing, because you are definitely losing an hour a day. Dictate the listing description, but ask it to do it for an AEO, GEO, and you can do it in the car. Okay. You could do it in the car while dropping your children off at school, or you can do it if your child is involved in any after school activities. Clear your inbox on the walk to the door because you can respond to everything that's in that inbox. Capture transaction notes before you forget. Last week, I was in Maryland, and in Maryland, at the end of the presentation, someone asked for step by step. They said, I want a step by step guide. This has been great, but I want to go back. I said, not a problem. I pulled out my mobile device. I went over to Claude. I did audio input, and then I gave us some special instructions. I want you to create a follow up ebook leveraging Gamma in the Remarkable LLC brand colors. Create a 8.5 by 11 ebook. And it took the audio, gave the text output, used the connector, and within 3 minutes, I had a ebook takeaway that I spoke into existence just to go back over what I had already taught. And now they have a written takeaway. You can do the same identical thing on your buyer consultation and on your listing appointment. But on that buyer consultation, if you pull out that phone and say, hey, let's say John is the client, I'm going to recap our time together. And before you get home, I will send you a follow up ebook of today's meeting. You're going to do something your competition isn't doing, and it's going to be in your brand colors, and you get to add a call to action. And it took less than 3 minutes to speak it all into existence and take great notes. Draft the CMA narrative between your showing appointments. Oh, let me go back to these meta glasses. I wear these glasses to Pilates. In 6 months, I've completed 100 Pilates classes. Now, I wear these glasses because I wanted to capture videos and photos while my hands are in strap. That means I simply say, hey, Meta. Well, guess what? While driving, while being 100% legal, you can have these glasses on and you can say, hey, Meta, record a note, or hey, Meta, open up Claude, and it will talk for you while you're still driving and navigating, and it will be done by the time you show up at the next appointment. Yes, this can lead to a 261% increase in income. I'm sorry, a 261% increase in productivity, thereby leading to a 283% increase in income. Three tools, one workflow. Whisper Flow, speaking it into existence. Chat GPT, but you could use Chat GPT, Gemini AI, Perplexity, or Claude, and you can decide where do you want your second brain stored. If you're using a lot of Claude, it's likely going to be over in Google Docs. Some of you might be using Copilot, which then means it might be inside of Microsoft. For those of you that are using Gemini AI, it might also go back over to Google Docs. So you get to dictate what that place is going to look like. You're doing this to create a system. I want a certain input and I want the fastest input and I want to give it the most details because the more details I give it, I get to actually extract different forms of output. For me, my output is leveraging tools like Notebook LM because I want content for the 1 in 5 adult learners who are neurodivergent learners. I want content for someone experiencing brain fog, eye fatigue, or uh, low hearing. That's what I want in my business. I call it an access framework. The tools are the pieces. A system is what makes them compound day after day. Knowing if you hit this trigger, they will actually fall like dominoes time and time again, right? Only thing is we don't have to restack the dominoes. It just keeps falling, right? Like an endless set of dominoes. We want to capture, organize, execute, and compound. So the capture is speaking it into existence. We get to decide how we want it organized and where do we want it organized. And honestly, once I set that up, leveraging things like ChatGPT Task, Claude Schedule, Gemini Schedule, it automates itself, which is why I spend the premium or the pro on those platforms because I want to tell you what to do. I want to give you some reference, and then I want you to execute on my behalf every single day, or once a week, or every other week, or once a month. And what ends up happening is it starts to compound itself. So every day I have content that generates itself. We know that once a month I'm speaking into existence the press release. Once a week I'm speaking into existence the newsletter. Once a month I'm speaking into existence the syndicated article, leveraging this same tech stack. And the tech stack is essentially less than $40 per month. I don't want you to think that you should not have to invest money in order to earn your time back. If you take a look at the value of your time, I'm going to make an assumption here that every person here wants to earn $100,000 per year. If that's the case and you work 40 hours a week and you take 2 weeks of vacation per year, your time is worth $50 per hour. These systems save you hours of time. You're not going to argue with me about, hey, spending $40 a month when you can recoup $50 an hour, right? That means and I save 2 hours every single day. That means I'm getting back, if I earned $100,000, $100 per day, but I'm going to argue about investing $40 per month. That makes absolutely no sense. So we make the investment believing that we're going to earn our time back. So I want to give you what is called a daily clarity sheet. Not only have we shared with you those 20 occupations, those 20 signs, I want to share with you a sheet. All of this is created in Claude. It's all created in our brand colors that can help you. So if you pull out your phone again, you're going to scan the QR code on the right-hand side, and I'm providing you with the daily clarity sheet. We start with our brain fog index. Taking a look at what those symptoms might be. You might not have even known these symptoms exist, but I'm giving you 20 symptoms for every stage of menopause. We're taking a look at our HRT and supplement log. These are the things that I take every single day. I didn't know I told it all this on my business, and I've added some things to this. So I'm gonna have to update that because I have added electrolytes and I've added creatine and collagen to my daily supplement list. We definitely want to identify what those wins are going to look like and then picking out no more than 3 to 4 tools. The more tools you use, the harder it is for the brain to decipher which tools. Therefore, you want to keep a tech stack at a minimum and make sure that you're implementing it first before you add any new tools. I also want you to identify your triggers and your patterns. I said I don't wake up until 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I do substantially better waking up at my natural clock. I'm going to work and work hard until I go to bed. But what I noticed when I was getting up at 5 o'clock, I was always tired. When I get up at 7 a.m., I can go and I can go hard. You want to identify that. But you also want to take a look at things that you eat, what might trigger you. For me, guess what? Lactose. So we had to give up milk in our coffee. I don't even do oat milk or almond milk. I just gave it up, okay? And then keeping a note for your doctor. And I told you I was saving something for you. I just realized that that throbbing pain that I had 2 years ago in my right hip was still a problem until a few weeks ago. And it was because I was on the lowest dose of estrogen. And the doctor said, is there anything still bothering you? And I've been on HRT for 2 years. I said, yes, there is something that's still bothering me. I've had an MRI. I've had x-rays. I've been to physical therapy. I've completed 100 Pilates classes in 100 days, and I'm still having this issue with my right hip. And he said, let me increase your estrogen because you're on the lowest dose. It will help with those deep tissue connections. And I will tell you right now, my right hip does not hurt. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was mad because I'm like, I didn't know I needed to tell him that, right? Tell your doctor everything because what I've realized over the past, what is now 7 years almost, everything that has bothered me has been related to menopause. I mean, every single thing. Now, what I'm mad about is the time that I wasted sitting on the phone to schedule the appointment, taking the time to go to the appointment, sitting through the appointments, and nothing was done. MRI, x ray, physical therapy, 100 Pilates classes, and I still had that issue. You mean you just needed to up a prescription? So you want to take notes for your doctor so that they're clear. And I want you to advocate for yourself. No one is going to save us. No one is going to save us. And a lot of doctors don't even know what we're talking about. That means it's time for you to get a doctor that does. I'm going to tell you right now, get you a doctor that does. A day in the loop of being, I'm going to say it, a high performing baddie, right? The institutional knowledge of this industry is going to be run on voice from dawn to dusk. Dictate your day's priorities and your first three follow ups of the day. Voice notes into your CRM between showings, even talking to some of you have AI agents and they're using agentic AI. Draft the listing in your car while you're sitting there at none other than Starbucks waiting for the barista to fix your coffee order. And you might want to let go of the milk, just a little FYI, and speak tomorrow's plan and one piece of content that it can create on your behalf. Also, you can dictate it Dictate to it what you want your brand to look like so that it is going to be consistent no matter what. Bandwidth bends, but standards do not. And you're able to give AI via your voice your standards, what you want to look like, what you want to sound like. And it is also listening to what your voice style and tone is so that that can carry through everything in which you are doing. And even when it comes to the call, you don't need to cope better. You just need to upgrade your operating systems. I don't encourage anyone to cope. Coping will drain you. And I was mentally drained. I tell people on the brinks of going into depression. Even though I was making more money, my body was not feeling it. At the moment, I was able to get my body and my mind to align. Everything has been, I would call it fabulous. Coping manages decline. Upgrading will build your capacity. You get to choose which tools. There is a competing tool in every single category of tools that I've shared with you today. Whisper for the audio input is actually leading the marketplace right now, but that doesn't mean that in 3 months, if it doesn't keep up with the current rate of change, it might not be the number one leader in that space. There are three moves that I want you to make before next week. I want you to install Whisper tonight because you can start off leveraging it for free. Dictate one email before you go to bed or start cleaning out your inbox. I'm going to say I do have a little OCD. I never go to bed with more than 20 emails in my inbox. I prefer to have less than 20, but never all these thousands and thousands, no, because I wouldn't know how to function. So I'm using it to clean everything out so that I can have a good night's sleep. Pick one daily task you'll do by voice, only follow ups, and then print the clarity sheet out that you get to use in your business and rate what your brain fog and your eye fatigue is looking like, but also note what is going on for whenever you show up at the doctor's office. For those of you who might be looking for a done for you system, you can find me at markilemons.com/agent dash OS. We built what is called Agent OS, which are 5 automations and 5 projects that support you no matter where you are in your business. It is our done for you offer. We have entered into a new phase of real estate. We cannot tell people we've been in the business 20, 30, 40 years and we're not in constant learning mode because of the current rate of change. If nothing else, I want you to commit to being in constant learning mode, implementing one thing at a time. But the fastest change you will see in your business is from your input, leveraging your voice, and these great devices in which you have paid for. I want to encourage you as a woman to know that you are the institutional knowledge of this industry and that you can still have everything that you want. You just can't have it all at the same time. Thank you for joining us today.